Good morning, listeners. Welcome to Rendezvous with Muriel, episode 3. So if you don't know who I am a relationship coach and the founder of Date Like a French Woman, where I teach women to move away from crappy relationships and become one who can attract the love that they really want in their lives, both at a brain level and at an energy level. So this specific podcast was created because I noticed that when people are going after their dreams, when they are really excited about it, turned on by life, they become magnets, to other people, opportunities, and even love. So I want to inspire you through other people's story, the ones who dared to go after their dreams, the one who made the jump, and are living it. And today, our guest is Shebvon Askew. She is the founder of the owner of Parting Seas Bookkeeping. They offer daily bookkeeping services and are branching into virtual assisting. So if you need to simplify your business expenses, invoice, and purchases, call Parting Seas Bookkeeping. They are the ones who can help, and it's actually Shebvon. She's a very nice lady, and I know her. I met her in person, and I'm very happy to have her here today. So good morning, Shebvon.
Good morning, Muriel. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I appreciate it.
That's my pleasure. And as usual, I love people to tell their stories. And I would love it if you could tell us how you started and your journey to get to where you are today in your realizing your dreams.
Sure. Well, I'm from Illinois originally, and born and raised in the south suburbs of Chicago, Illinois. And I went to school, high school, college in Illinois. Graduated with a bachelor's in English in 2006. And then a few years later in 2011, earned my master's in psychology from the University of Phoenix. So though graduating college was rough for me, but I'm glad I did it. Graduating with my master's with a 3.5 cumulative GPA was a spectacular journey because I always thought I was a little average. So being able to accomplish that was a major feat for me. And then after I graduated with my master's, I'd worked for several companies in Illinois, and then I moved to Vegas in 2008 due to illnesses. And my mother basically said, I can't come and travel back and forth between Vegas and Illinois, so you come to Vegas. So I did. And I was 25, 26, and worked for customer service companies, IT companies, and just was never really happy or satisfied. And for the last 4.5 years, I worked for an auto and home company as an underwriter. And in April of last year, I really felt that there was a shift happening in the company. And so I sat down with my then manager, and I told her, she asked me, Shebvon, what's going on with you today? How are you? And I said, something big is about to happen. I don't know who or when or what or when, but I said, something is about to happen to change how everybody here in the office is doing their job. And she said, well, do you know something I don't? I said, not necessarily. I just feel something's about to happen. So I went about my day, and the end of April came and went, and May and June. And I go to an event called Electric Daisy Carnival, which is a very large rave here in Las Vegas every year. And so I always prepare for that. And so that's how my summer goes. I work and then I go on vacation. And that came and went, and July came and went. And July 13th, 2016, I went into work like I did every day. 9 o'clock came, and another coworker was tapped on his shoulder, and he and the manager left. And I sat there with my coworker, and I said, well, what's going on? She's ruffling through his desk. What's happening? He's like, I don't know. So about 15 or 20 minutes later, she comes and taps me on my shoulder. Well, I want to pause there because 2 weeks prior, so around July 2nd or 3rd, I had just had this feeling that it was time for me to leave again. I'd always been blessed to know when I could leave a job and move on to something new or something more. And 2 weeks prior to being laid off, I started going into bookkeeping, and I stumbled upon this course, which is now called Bookkeeper Business Launch. And the instructor's name is Ben Robinson. And he was so passionate about bookkeeping and outside of bookkeeping, what you're doing for business, which is you're helping them. You're getting to know who the people are in the business and a part their family, and you're really getting to help and nurture them as business people and hopefully become friends. And that really resonated with me because every job I've had, I've always been told, Shebvon, you do too much. You talk on the phone too long with customers. You're too nice. You're too this. And I'm like, well, okay. that's just me. That's just, what I provide. That's part of the value that I provide. But okay. And every day I kept going back to this bookkeeping course, and it just stuck with me. And July 12th, I woke up and said, well, maybe I'll stick with this job, this 9 to 5. Maybe I'll see where it goes in a few years, and I'll just stay where I'm at. And July 13th, I'm a believer in Christ, and I believe that he told me, no, Shebvon, you are not going to be hard-headed this time. You're going to do what I asked you to do, and you're going to go on to the next part of your life, which is having your own business and being able to create something that is really helpful to others. So that morning, I talked to a supervisor in HR, and they gave me my walking papers, and they'd asked me, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I'm fine." I didn't cry. I wouldn't allow myself to cry because I'd already seen it coming. I'd already been mentally and emotionally preparing for this next part of my life and my journey. So only thing I could do was go home and have a meeting with my family and go to the gym and work out, and enjoy the rest of my day off, because there's really nothing else you can do when a company lays you off but try to piece together your next steps. And if you already know what those next steps are, life is just much more easier and simpler. So me diving full speed ahead into bookkeeping was a very easy transition. And it was just a matter of taking the courses and doing the work and getting out there, meeting people, and discovering, how I fit into the grand scheme of things. So um, I finished the course January of 2017, actually. But I started bookkeeping a little earlier than that, probably about September, but really getting into the mechanics and the theories and, of accounting. That's been ongoing for the last few months. And 2 weeks ago, I earned my first client, and having a great time helping him, get things off the ground and simplified for his finances. And I'm just looking forward to the rest of this journey and where it takes me and the people I meet, such as yourself and other women and men in business. So it's an exciting time for me at 34.
That's so listening to your story. First of all, I want to acknowledge you because I believe that we are always guided, but very few of us listen to the actual intuition, especially when it involves a life-changing situation. And because you have faith and you listen, you were able to pave the road a little bit further than someone who would have been in shock. And you were able to take the turn in a smoother way. And that's huge. That's really huge, because I'm sure that your period of adaptation was shorter because of that. And so you tap in your real potential to make things happen. So that's really amazing, because life, God, the universe, depending on how people call it, will give you messages, and it starts with a whisper. And you heard it earlier than when it actually happened. So it's a whisper. And if you don't listen, it's a nudge. And then it becomes a slap. And then it becomes a kick.
Yeah, literally.
Yes. So you were able to make the kick not that painful because you were ready.
Yeah, and I've always wanted to have my own business. I mean, that kind of came into mind maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I just never went for the education and always said, "Oh, I can't afford it. It's going to take a lot of money." The reality is you can afford it. You just have to prioritize your life. You have to, make some sacrifices. And I will be the first to say, I love to shop and I love to eat. And those are two things that take a lot of money, but you
Yes.
have to say, okay, if I want to open my own salon, if I want to open my own IT firm or my own law practice, you've got to set aside money, from your usual everyday and put it towards that ultimate goal and that ultimate dream. So, and change your mindset too, most importantly, and how you speak things into existence. Because if you keep saying, I don't have it, then you won't have
Yeah.
it. So that's become a huge lesson for myself, even now with the
Well,
client.
that's great because it all comes down to our limiting beliefs.
Hmm.
Because if our life depended on it, we can make anything happen.
Oh,
And
sure.
or if our children's life, I have kids, I can make anything happen. I'm ready to do anything.
Hmm.
So it's really being clear on the fact that if we don't do it, that means we either are stopped by fear
Yeah,
or by something else, or we don't really want it. We just say that we want it, but we don't really want
exactly.
it. Because I'm a single mom and I started building my business on the side of my full-time job
Okay.
where my budget was limited, my
Hmm.
time was limited because I don't want to neglect my kids. So it's all a question of priority. Like
Hmm.
your priorities have to be really clear to you if you want to really succeed. So you were very clear on that. And because you have a background in accounting, I do too, by the way. It's much easier to put everything on paper and know exactly how you're going to go about it,
Hmm.
what bucket you can take money from, saving a little bit on that in that area of your life and allocate it to something that is going to yield so much return in your life.
Yeah.
So that's really amazing. And as far as dreams, usually we are very resilient and resourceful when we have a very clear and huge why. So what is your why in the fact that you wanted to be self-employed? Is it for freedom? Do you have a person in your life? Is it to be closer to your mom? What was your why? What is your why?
I have several. One would be my mom. I don't have a husband or children. My younger brother is going into the part of his life where he's starting his career. And so I won't say I've always been close with my mom, but for the last, I'm 34, from the age of 18 or 19 up until now, our relationship has built. And most people would say that's typical from, when you're birth to maybe 15, you're
Yeah,
just like rebels. And
yeah.
she and I were oil and water and water. But once I went away to school and I lived in Florida for a little bit, I used to work for Disney World actually. And I learned a lot about myself and who I wanted to become as an adult. Then our relationship, grew a lot closer. And she's not married, and just the older we become, the closer I am and the more I want to take care of her. So I knew that I couldn't I could do it with a full-time job, but knowing the amount of restrictions, corporate America places on you and your work life balance, it just is not really feasible for me. So that's one why. um the second why is really the fact that I can tailor my business how I want. If I want to have a 2 hour long conversation with a client about their kids and their dogs and what they did for Mother's Day, I can do that. I don't have anyone telling me, okay, Shebvon, you're not making enough money for the business. You're not spending the time wisely here and there. Granted, I do structure our meetings, but if I want to, I can have a very intimate and personal conversation with my client, and hopefully that makes them trust me more, and they can see I'm not out for blood and money and
Yeah.
every organ in their body. I simply just want to help you. If you have questions, let me know. I want to be able to connect, I guess. and I can't really connect working in corporate America.
Yes,
It's very rare
it
when
is.
that happens, especially when you're on the low end of the totem pole. You're not a manager or a supervisor or an executive. You can't really make those decisions on who you talk to, how
Yes,
long you talk to, and when.
yes.
When you have your own business, you can. I mean, there's pros and cons and ups and downs in both, but the freedom you have to, know that you're making money, but know that you're providing a service, you're building positive relationships with people. You have a lot more of that when you own your own business. So my why is simply, I get to be Shebvon unapologetically. I get to do what I want to do, how I want to do it, and know that I'm actually making a difference. Anything else that comes after that, like a salary or more money, to me that's extra. I've never chased money. If it comes, it comes. If I know that I can show my value and what I'm providing, then yeah, I want to be paid for it. But that's not what I lead with. That's not how I want you to think of me or the business. So
So it seems that you really love connecting, and that's
mhm,
what bringing you bliss in your adventure.
it
And
does.
it also seems that you're not only chasing a dream, but you're somehow on purpose because it aligns with your values, it
Hmm.
aligns with who you are really. So would you say that through this experience you really become somehow bigger, you grow on a personal level?
I would. For me, it's um growing up, I had an issue with like patience, having patience and always wanting things to, go my way, and I
Yeah.
want to be in control. And now it's like, yeah, that business, especially owning your own business, you don't get to control many things, if
Yeah.
anything. You control maybe when you wake up, maybe not. you, you control how much you spend, maybe not. So the amount of control you have, it's definitely lessened, and that's taught me some that I need to change. I need to not be so rigid,
Yes.
just kind of go with the flow more. Have a plan, but be able to adapt when changes come up, be able to adapt quickly when changes come up. Clients may have emergencies, or the computer shuts down, or you have to do something with mom, so you have to be able to adjust when those things come up, and be patient when a client says, oh, can we meet, or a prospect says, oh, can we reschedule. So and it's really all coming together. And I think, being 34, I'm a lot more grateful and humble to start a business now versus 24 versus 18, and not have that support system. So the journey is really developing into something awesome. So
And well, in fact, the only control that we have is our attitude and our internal perception of what's happening and how we're going to react to be resourceful.
mhm.
And I see that you practice gratitude. That helps a lot, even to attract more good
Yeah.
stuff in your life. Is there, for example, this morning we had technical issues in this podcast.
Yes.
Is there a sentence, because I'm always trying to dig some tools that people can implement in their life, and because we're all so different, people think differently, so the more variety in our secret weapons I can transmit with this podcast, the happier I am.
Mhm.
Is there a specific sentence or idea that helps you stay zen, or at least as centered as possible when something happens that you did not anticipate and where you have to adapt quickly? Is there a sentence in your head or anything that helps you concretely?
I would say, I grew up watching a show called A Different World, on ABC, and it was a show mainly geared to people of color, African Americans, young people going into college. And there's a character called, her name is Whitley Gilbert, and she is played by Jasmine Guy. And one phrase she says is relax, relate, release. And she would do like
Oh.
this hand flutter, like relax, relate, release. You know, and it's and it's really she used it to calm because she was a very hyperactive person, very high strung. But she would do it to just say, okay, like calm down, look at the situation for what it is, think of if you have any options, and then either let it go or use one of those options and then move on. Kind of, and again, adapt to what is happening in the moment, because some things are just out of your control. You can't do anything about a lot of parts of life. You just have to sit there, look around for a little bit, and then let it go. So, and that is something that I've also learned too. It took me a long time to get there, but now people say things to me that are, disrespectful or mean, or they don't want to explain themselves, or they try to do things. And the only thing I can do is look at them. I can't, I can't, there's no need to comment into it all. But if it really frustrates me, or if it really ignites something in me, I just have to, breathe. Okay, you got some issues going on. I don't know. Maybe you need prayer. I'll pray for you. Put that out in the world, and then move on. I can't sit around for the negativity
Yes.
and things that are seeking to really, keep me tight and wound up. I can't do that. It's bad for your health.
Yeah.
It's bad for just like, having positive energy around you.
True.
So relax, relate, release is what I would
I'm
say.
gonna remember this one. I'm gonna write it down because
Just like
yeah, sometimes I have my own affirmations, but sometimes you need to change because you
hmm
want variety too. And this one is excellent.
yeah, yeah.
As far as getting clients, I think that your attitude, first of all, it's very wise because people are going to be who they are. Whether
Yes,
it is you or the next door neighbor or somebody else, if they're angry, they're going to be angry. If they're loving, they're going to be loving. No matter who they have in front of them, because we live 95% in autopilot with our
hmm
programs and our subconscious models and behaviors, we're going to be who we are programmed to be. So there is
correct.
no need to go in their drama. Like
Mm-mm.
I
No,
do tango, and when I see that, sometimes I'm triggered because I'm human, but most of the time I'm like, I don't want to
yeah,
dance with you.
like
I'm
you're a
not
repel.
interested. No way.
Yeah, you
So
got you. A lot of times you can see that energy and you're like, ooh, okay, let me
yeah,
walk either left or right. But I don't want to be anywhere, near that. So it does take a wise person to see it and discern the
yes.
situation, and then just kind of move away or move on and just be alone for a little bit. And then if you need to come back to something, then come back to it. But don't keep it, so in and let it affect you so much that you can't focus, on your day and what the purpose of your day is.
And plus, if this is somebody that you need to see again, if it's, I don't know, a client or someone that you're going to have to see again, communicating when they are in that state of mind is not the best time. So it's better
No.
to let them cool down
hmm
and come back later.
Yeah.
That's also something in any relationship that we need to practice to extract ourselves when it's not the right vibe, not the right energy.
That's important. It's interesting you say that because I'm noticing, with my client, it seems like Mondays and Fridays are very high strung for him.
Oh,
And okay, I'm like, okay, maybe I need to tweak when we meet. So if I meet you on Mondays, but you're so busy, with his own clients, maybe we need to meet on Tuesday when it's not such a high strung day. And then we can get a lot more done and use, my time and his time more efficiently. So, and it's not that it's anything negative. It's just, he's got people calling him,
yeah.
in the industry he's in, it's very, very busy. It's very fast paced. So I think for how I run my business, paying attention to the client's day, especially if you have an opportunity to sit with them a few hours and you can see how their time is spent and how their day goes. Now that I've seen it a couple of weeks over, I can, maybe tweak when we meet and say, okay, you've got some energy going on Mondays and Fridays. Maybe those are the best days you and I should meet. how about we change it to Tuesday and then see how that works out for you? And, just paying attention to those little nuances, when you have clients is really, really important. So
And that's an
I
excellent
agree.
point, because in business, if you're able to really assess the personality of your clients, if you can assess that, for example, on certain days they're more overwhelmed than others, it's going to serve both of you, because
Mm-hmm.
the communication is going to be easier. And I went to listen to a talk yesterday about color coding, like this idea that we have personalities, or our core self correspond to certain types,
Mm-hmm.
and they define it with colors. Knowing, so he was explaining that if you deal with a client that is a blue, you're not going to interact the same way that if you deal with a client who's a yellow. And that's really what you're explaining, to be aware of what's going on,
Yes.
and to see what's your best angle to serve that client, because ultimately we're here to serve.
Yep.
And it's all about the client. It's all about what problem do we solve for them. So
Correct.
for
Yep.
you to do that, it really shows that you are customer oriented, client oriented, and you really give the best that you can to serve the client, and that will make your business expand. Like,
I hope so.
yes, oh, I really
I hope so.
I'm sure when you have this kind of attitude, there are 20,000 coaches. I don't know how many. There
Oh,
are,
so much.
same with bookkeeping.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's all about our personality, our attitude, how people feel when they're around us, and what we
Mm-hmm.
bring to the table. So
You're
for
right.
you to really pay attention to that, it's amazing. And I'm sure that it doesn't go unnoticed by your clients. They feel it in a way or another.
Yeah, I can't tell right now, but I am sure, because I would tell them, if you guys need to, take the kids to school, if we need to meet, later in the day, have a phone meeting later in the day, just let me know. And I tell them too, when they sign the contract, anything that I'm going to change, I'll let you know and communicate it to you prior to. So especially with the change in the days that we meet, you have to make sure, you don't just say, oh, let's meet Tuesday. Well, no, I'm going to give you a heads up, ask you, is this a better day for us to meet? And if you agree, then we can meet on a new day, same time if you like, and then go from there. So I really try to, I have to balance my own life too, but so it's a fine line, but it's really all about communication. If I have to take my mom to therapy, physical therapy, and they have to do things with the kids, well, let's have a middle ground. So it just depends on you. It depends on the client, the industry. It depends on what you're comfortable with, and sometimes what you're not comfortable with, because you have to break that comfort cycle a little bit, to go outside the box. So far it's working well. I'm really happy with my choice and owning a business and getting out there. And I was born an introvert, but I've become an introvert extrovert.
Yeah,
So
yeah, there
so
is
it's like
something. Yeah,
like doing things like a podcast. I never thought I would do a podcast, but
me neither.
the thing it's like, but thinking about, how I grew up, yeah, I could see, me doing something like this. So it's developing me as a person.
Yes,
And as you're getting older, I don't want to stay just in my little circle, my little house. I would like to get out there and see, what's happening. So having a business has definitely helped that for me.
that's amazing how many things we can do that we would never have
Hmm.
anticipated. Like, I was also the quiet one. I was never in the center of attraction,
Oh
and
no.
here we are now, online doing a podcast.
Yeah.
So that's
for the
amazing.
world to see.
Yes, yes. Um, as far as fulfillment, because when we go after a dream, of course we get more fulfillment. Do you feel a difference when you wake up in the morning now, compared to when you were working for somebody else? Do you have more energy, more, what's the
Oh
difference?
boy, there's a major difference when I get to a point where I know I'm ready to move on. I can tell by how I wake up, because I wake up and it's like, ugh, it's a lot of heavy breathing. It's a lot of rolling the eyes at the day and what I have to do. oh my God, there's a lot of that, like just stress, like mental stress,
Yes.
but when you like, love, or have passion for what you do, and you're finding interesting things. So now as a business owner, I'm thinking of ideas, like just random ideas,
Yes.
and never did I have that just like spark,
Yeah.
of thinking of different things to do, or different ways to generate income, or all this creativity that I knew I had. I was born with it, but it was like latent, and I'm a writer, so you would think that someone who writes creative pieces would have already had a business, but there's more to it. There's another side of me. So now when I wake up, all that creativity that I've had and still have, it, like, there's little sparks that go off, and as I go to networking events and meet new people, new tidbits are coming at me, and I'm thinking about, oh, I can do this and that. So now I wake up and I'm like, even though I'm not a morning person, and it's bad to say because you don't want to put that out there, but I am a night owl. I would literally stay up until 3 a.m. in the morning and then get up at maybe 2 in the afternoon. But
Yeah.
once you own a business, you have to be open during business hours.
Yes.
So now that I've changed my sleeping pattern, I wake up and I might be a little, groggy, but a shower and some breakfast and I'm okay. And then I'm ready for the day. So I find now that when I wake up, my mindset is different. I'm thinking about, okay, what do I need to do today? On my own list, for the business, what client do I have to, work with today, and how can I help people? How can I improve on what I offer, how I offer, when I offer? So the mindset is completely different now that I wake up and I have my own. Before, my mindset was, I don't want to go to work. I don't want to talk to anybody. And then when I would come home after talking to people on the phone all day, I didn't want to answer questions. A simple hello, how was your day? It was like, ugh, one more one more question to answer. I don't feel like answering any more questions. So now I come home and, my mom will say, well, what event did you go to today? And, I'll say, oh, I went to Open Coffee Meet, or I went to, Legal Shield, or a chamber meeting, and she's excited for me. So now I have the support, of family, and they're excited for what I'm doing. So it really changes, how I go to sleep. It changes how I wake up, and it's a big difference, a big change from working for someone else versus working for yourself and on yourself, I would say.
Yeah.
So
And
major changes.
so I would say that people should pay attention to that. If they get up in the morning and they don't want to get up and they don't want to
Hmm.
go to work, that's a
Hmm.
huge indication that you are not aligned with what you really want to do.
Correct.
So
Correct.
start taking some baby steps toward changing. Otherwise, you're going to get
Yes.
kicked in the butt one day and it's going to be much more painful.
Yes, and I would say if you're having that type of feeling, to either, and if you're not going to take steps like going to networking events or research, then start putting some money away. Because once you start feeling like you're either going to be fired, or you're going to get sick and you're not going to have enough time to take off work, or whatever the life change you feel is at your door, start to put some money away. If you don't have the proper insurance, get the right insurance. Start to do something that will at least hold you up for a little while
Mhm.
until the next part of the journey begins. Because I mean, I can tell, and I was blessed again to have severance. I had severance, I had a 401k, so that tied me over. I had unemployment. So all those things were great tools and resources for
Yeah.
me. But a lot of people don't have that. They
Yes.
don't have, the only thing they have is unemployment. They don't have 401k sitting in a bank somewhere for that type of emergency or life change.
Yeah.
So you have to prepare yourself. Don't be afraid of the preparation.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of that feeling like something is about to happen, because you won't be ready. I mean, we're never really ready, but doing just a little tweak in your day to day, to help you prepare for the next part of your life journey, it helps
It does.
tremendously. It
Yeah.
helps.
So now I would like to ask you about my favorite subject, the pillar of the coaching,
Uh,
self-love.
uh-huh.
And since people don't always know what it means to them, I would love to ask you for your own definition of self-love.
Self-love to me is being able to discern what and who is right for you.
Oh,
I was in college, and every young person has those dramatic relationships. And I had never really dated anyone, and I met this guy, and we befriended one another, and then I moved him into my apartment, and then he met someone online, and it hurt me, it
wow.
crushed me, and I was like, oh my gosh, and it was so very dramatic.
Yes.
But what I told myself is that I would never let anybody else treat me like that ever again. And so
Mm-hmm.
some people say that, that's keeping me away from having a new relationship. And I would have to disagree because I've always been very sure of myself. And now people tell me I'm so sure of myself that it scares people away. And I have to tell them, well, then that's a good thing to me. Because if you can't take someone who knows who they are in this life, they know who they want to be, they know who they want to be in a relationship, they're not the right person for you.
Yeah.
You have to be okay with who that person is. You have to discern who is in your corner, who is not, what events, what situations, what business moves are right for you, what's not. Even as I look at networking events and
Yes.
choosing, the people I want to associate with, I have to read them. I have to observe. I've always been an observer, but now I have to look at it from a slightly different perspective. How are we going to benefit one another? How
Yes.
are we going to enhance one another? And if I can't see it, if I can't, if there's something clouding, my ability to see it, then it's not for me.
Yeah.
You're not for me. The
Yes.
situation or the event is not for me. And a gospel singer, Karen Clark Sheard, she has a song. Uh, what is it called? Well, the phrase in the song is, "You have to see it before you see it, or you never will see it."
So true.
So you have to you have to really be balanced in life and be centered so much that you already know walking into a room, this is not for me.
Yeah.
They are not for me. This event is not for me. There might be one small part of that experience that is for you. And if it's not knowing that you know who you are in this life, it's knowing that maybe you were there to help somebody else, and that's fine. But self love is really being able to determine whose corner you want to be in, because you don't want to give so much of yourself that you don't have anything to give back to you,
True.
and who should be in your corner.
And actually, I call it being on your side of the fence, like be really present and aware of
Hmm.
what's going on. Don't project yourself, like, because business is like dating, it's like looking for love. If you are so desperate to attract a client or a lover that you project yourself in the future, ignoring what is going on now and who you are dealing with, you're in trouble. So
Yeah.
stay on your side of the fence and really be present. First of all, you will enjoy it more, and
Hmm.
notice if there are any red flags, because they
Oh
are
yes,
there. The problem is that we ignore them. They are there from the beginning.
from the beginning.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
And
Um, there was a situation. I joined a virtual assistant association, and one of the members, you can send out a request for help on a particular project or job, and you would get paid for it. So, and this particular woman, she wanted help with her books, and I agreed to help her, and she was very scared to release that information because of everything that she had gone through and experienced, or maybe information she held back from a prior CPA or accountant. And I, would press and like, oh, I understand this is life, and I was really, understanding what she was going through. Finances are very, very, very personal, and things happen and we don't always want to share that.
yeah,
And I reached out and I sent out a contract to her. She signed it. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, you're halfway there to a client. The other half is to receive the payment. And she never emailed me. And I asked God, I was like, well, what is it? We had talked, and But I had to realize that was not a situation, that was not someone for me. That if
Hmm.
she really wanted to be my client, she would have done all the steps necessary to
Yes.
become a client. And so when things like that happen, people unfriend you and they, unsubscribe from your mail list and they break up with you essentially. Or
Yeah.
they just say, no, I don't want a second date.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in business. You might feel a little like bum, like, oh, I
Yes.
worked really hard to get that prospect into a client. But at the end of the day, look at if it's something you did, maybe, maybe not. If it's something they did, maybe, maybe not. Learn from it and then keep trying to improve upon, you and how you seek out business and just move on. If they really need you, maybe they'll come back to you later on, after going through another bad situation, and then they'll call you and say, Shebvon, I should have went with you to begin with because now it's really messed up. And then that's when okay, I have no problem helping you with your bookkeeping, but I am going to charge you.
Oh yeah.
So
And
it's important to know your placement,
it,
where you fit in everything.
I feel it. I define it in my head as life's filters for you, because
Hmm.
it has filters, and it filters all the what you don't want, and in a way
Yeah,
it protects you. So when you can get to a
that's
point to
true.
see it in that way, then you feel blessed more than bummed, and that's not
Definitely.
always easy. We're human.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Some days you're like, man, I really wanted that one, but
Yes.
especially when you own your business, it's all about making sure your business grows, which
Yes.
means money is coming in, you have a
Yeah.
profit, you've got revenue. So sometimes when you're trying to get to that next level, and it doesn't happen when you wanted to, you're like, ugh, which is a big deal for me because once again, that's that control person or side of me coming out and saying, okay, by June 1st, we're going to have 3 clients, and then by July 1st. But if it doesn't happen, are you going to make that decision to just say, I'm going to give up, I'm done with
Yeah.
this? Or are you going to keep going and keep networking and keep getting your name out there? So
Yeah.
I have to keep my name out there because going back to work for another company, that's not going to happen. I've
That's
already made that decision. I have
that's
some
good.
other things that I want to do after, bookkeeping takes off, to create a vision that I have been dreaming about for a while, but now I can see that it is possible for it to come to fruition and really be formed the way I want it to. So
Right.
no
Right.
looking back.
And my last question about self-love, because you already explained how it serves you in your business, is do you have a specific practice? Like some people have meditation, some people have affirmations. Do you have a self-love practice in your life? And what is it? What could you share with people that you
I
practice?
I love music. I will spend my last $3 if I had nothing. I mean, food, electricity, car. I will spend my last on my MP3.
Okay.
I'm on iTunes often. I go on YouTube and listen to music. I love music because again, these are people and
Yes.
they've experienced, and this is just their chosen profession, but what they're talking about, it is a connection to what the listener is going through in their own life. And I grew up on a lot of soulful music, Temptations and Aretha
Oh, yeah.
Franklin, a lot of Luther Van, a lot of
Yeah.
soulful music. And then the older I got, I listened to a lot of the classics, uh, Patsy Cline and um, Dolly Parton, some of her
Yeah.
older music. So I listen to all different types of music, from jazz to gospel to hip hop to reggae and classical music, and I always had an ear for what makes me feel calm, what
Yeah.
makes me feel like I can keep things going at a pace that I'm comfortable with, or if I need some like drum and bass, something that's really high to, or
Yeah.
electronic music, something that's really high tempo, and then I'm like, let's go, Shebvon, let's get everything
Yes.
done.
Yes.
So for me, that's what keeps me going. Working out is great. but I have to work out to music. I can't just go to the gym with no headphones. I really feel
Yeah,
like a part of me is missing if I don't have my earphones with me, because
true.
I need that, to get through some of these days. So,
Except when you go to a Zumba class, or I did a Zumba class with my
oh,
daughter last time, and that was fun. That was really
Zumba
fun.
is so fun. I love it. I used
Yeah.
to go to a gym out here in Henderson, Nevada, Lifetime Athletic, and
Yes.
they have wonderful Zumba classes. So, if I didn't do that on Saturdays, and I was up early listening to music and just getting, the weekend started.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
music will always be a part of my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too, because it changes your mood. It changes
It
your state
does.
in 1 second. How do people can contact you if they want to inquire about your services, or if they need a bookkeeper?
Sure. The best way to get a hold of me would be my email, which is ShebvonAskew@gmail.com.
Okay, and I'll put it in the description too.
Okay. This ShebvonAskew@gmail.com.
Okay.
They can also visit my Instagram page, which is Parting Seas 2017, and I'm on there every day. On Facebook, Parting Seas Bookkeeping LLC, and then I'm also on LinkedIn under Shebvon Askew. So
Okay.
various ways to get a
Yeah.
hold of me, and if people want to discuss, bookkeeping, virtual assisting, or I love to talk about Electric Daisy Carnival to anyone I get a chance to. So if you want to talk about that, that's fine too.
I heard about it. I haven't gone to it, but I heard about it from my daughter. So,
I love it. I started wanting to go to that event at the age of 12, and there was a
oh,
movie,
wow.
First Daughter, I believe, and there's a scene in the movie where she's in Belgium or Germany, and there was a rave taking place, and all I could see were colors and people and carnival and music. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to go there. And I finally got the chance to go in 2014, and it was a life changer for me. A lot of people say it, but I really felt it's just a lot of positive energy, and you feel it the moment you get on the bus to go to the speedway, to the moment you get off the bus, and it's just bass music and just people, and this is a wonderful time. So I love it. I've been the last 4 years, and well, this will be my fourth this coming June.
Okay. So
So
as a
preparing for
mom,
that.
I'm a little bit concerned for my daughter to go there, because she's going to be 16. But I can understand that it can be fun.
It is, and she's not old enough to go. You have to be 18, so she's got 2
Oh, that's
years.
good. That's
Yeah.
perfect.
You got 2 years to prepare and get
Yes.
her ready, and then she can
Wonderful.
go and have fun.
Wonderful. So I want to thank you for being here today. That was really fun, and that
Yes, it
helped me
was.
discover a little bit of who you are. I'm sure that we're going to run into each other again in
Yes,
the circle.
yes.
And I wish you much success with
Oh,
your
thank you.
bookkeeping business, and with your dream that will come after that. We'll
Yes.
discover that later.
Yes.
And really, that was really a rich interview with a lot of wisdom for people, whether it is for their business, their dream, or their personal life. So again, thank
Good, glad
you.
to hear. You're welcome.
And
Thank you for having me. This is fun. This is different. I
yes,
want to do different things, so it was really, really fun.
yes, different is fun.
Yes. Well,
Thank you,
thank you.
Shebvon.
You're welcome. You have a good day.
Thank you, you too.
All right,
And
thanks.
we'll be there
Bye-bye.
next week with another guest.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
For questions or to apply for an interview, visit datelikeafrenchwoman.com.